Welcome to Ida's video channel. In this video, I'll show you how to adjust pipe cover as well as rim and sump elevations for structures. But now I will do it globally, not just for one structure at a time like I shown in a previous video. I want to do it globally. We have a very useful command which is called adjust inverts, but it might be renamed because now it is not only about the inverts, it is basically adjusting the elevations. So it might be renamed in the future something like adjust elevations, but we will see. So let me use that command for now. Let me show you how it works. You can select either entire network, I will use a bulk water, or pipes and structures along specific alignment, or you can select only specific parts. Let me use the entire network. Then you set the reference surface. You have an option to apply the changes to the locked pipes and locked structures. So you remember that when we imported the services from the GIS, we had the option to lock the pipes and structures. But if you want, you can modify those locked pipes and structures if needed. You can also lock pipes and structures in a pipe manager, which we used for some other exercise. But for now, I won't use that option. There is an option to adjust pipe elevation, and now I can choose the amount, and it can be cover or invert, or above structure invert. And when it comes to adjustment, I can specify whether I want the value to be above surface, below surface, or I can also raise or lower by a specific value. Let's say you used cover, let's say 0.8 for the entire network, and then they told you, no, you need to use 1.1. So you can lower the entire network by, let's say, 0.3. But I will use a 1.4 below surface for now. Now, what's very important is that you can also adjust structure rim elevation and structure sump depth. And you can even change how the sump depth should be treated, whether by depth or elevation. So this is very practical. When it comes to structure rim elevation, again, you can specify whether you want the rim elevation to be 0 below surface, which means it is attached to the surface. Or if you want, you can specify negative or positive value. If you want the structures to be just at the pipe crown elevation, you can use a value, let's say 5 meters below surface. But as you know, rim elevation cannot go below the pipe crown, which means it will just stop there and it won't cause any harm. So in this case, all my structures will be below the surface and will be attached to the pipe crown. But I don't like that option for the bulk water pipelines because my symbols would be at the pipes, not at the surface. So I will rather use 0. And then I can run it. I will click OK, and you will see the entire network will adjust vertically. As you can see, it no longer follows the vertical alignment which I used for my design. It's just a bit lower. If I go to 3D view on the left-hand side, let me stretch it a bit and I go to 3D view, you will see that those structures are a little bit high, and that's because they are attached to the NGL, and that's the way it is as I explained in the previous video. If you want, you can go to Tool Space, Prospector, Pipe Networks, Network, and then Bulk Water, and you can check the pipes cover, because IDAS checks the cover at the beginning and at the end of the pipe, but it doesn't check it in the middle or along the pipe. And there is a column which says minimum and maximum cover. So I set a 0.4, but there are places where the minimum cover is not achieved. Why? Because the pipe might go straight, like here. You can see the minimum cover is definitely not achieved here. So you would need to insert another structure and adjust it accordingly. But this is a nice tool to check whether the cover is at least very close to your specified value. And in some cases, what some people prefer is instead of using, let's say 1.4, they will go 1.5 to have some kind of buffer value, and that should help a bit. Of course, you can export, you can copy this, you can select everything, you can copy values to clipboard, you can export it. It's quite nice. So I hope this helps when it comes to adjusting the pipe cover and structure rim and sump elevations.